The stars have been aligning for Nickelodeon lately. While there's been plenty of rough edges throughout the explosion of content Nick's put out in 2020 and 2021, they're overall on relatively good footing, re-establishing a strong slate of cartoons and live-action series alike. However, it seems Nick's been making so many new stars lately, through new talent on their shows, mainly their live-action output, that they're finding it hard to figure out where to put them all. Thus, Nick's brought out its second star vehicle in 2 years, That Girl Lele. Does Lele know how to slay, or should Nick have filled this half hour another way? Let's jump in and review their newest sitcom. Most TV shows are born with a solid creative premise, a steady plot outline that offers an overall look at what kinds of stories the show will tell and how they intend on telling them. Often, there will be known actors to fill some of the roles, but that's usually something that isn't fleshed out until the scripts are in the bag and the production team is a go. But there's another way that TV shows can be made: the star vehicle. Dating all the way back to the early days of film, the star vehicle effectively turns the process on its head. Nail the big name leading celebrity first, ask the questions about what the show's gonna be like afterward. While star vehicles have given us the likes of Seinfeld, Everybody Hates Chris, and Once Eternal Nick at Night occupant George Lopez, they can be easy to screw up if you focus too much on showing off your main star and don't pay enough attention to actually making a decent show. Nick has recent experience with star vehicles, having launched Tyler Perry's Young Dylan to showcase a 10-year-old rapper, and a flashy $150 million a year output deal with one of entertainment's most prominent and most creatively versatile black names in February 2020. As I point out in my look back at the year that was for Nick, that show was beset with a weak art imitates life premise that only really served to prove that Tyler Perry can still do bad all by himself, disservicing the show's marquee star with a mediocre at best execution. In late September 2021, ironically paired with the ongoing season 2 of Young Dylan, Nick decided to try again as a star vehicle with That Girl Lele. Created by comedian David A. Arnold, the show stars that title girl, full name Alea High, as the AI avatar of a personal affirmation app. When Sadie, played by Gabrielle Nevaeh Green of the All That reboot, wishes that Lele were real to help her come out of her shell, her wish comes true and the two set off on an episodic journey of self-discovery. There seems to be at least some thought put into the premise on this one, and in a way that seems appropriately modern day but relatable enough to work. But can That Girl Lele really make the magic happen? And does Nick finally have a star vehicle that can really make some moves? Time to have a look. Sadie Alexander sure is a meek one. To be fair, public speaking isn't anyone's forte, and few of us ever learn how to do it well. Running unopposed for a minor position in student government, she lacks much in the way of confidence or charisma, and fails to curry favor with her classmates on the importance of recycling.
Guys, if you're ever confused about where to put trash, just ask me. Okay, you can call me the trash lady. Uh-oh. Banana peel. While hurtful and inappropriate goes into compost. Huh?
Thankfully, her personal affirmation app, Lele, is there for her, and is about to be in more ways than one. Lele's bombastic entrance turns up the energy on this show to 11.5, and the excitable avatar posts a reasonable reaction to being thrust into reality. Following the theme song, we get introduced to the rest of Sadie's family, aspiring schemer Marky serving up another business opportunity, and Sadie's parents, who are advertising jingle writers. Lele is also learning a little about her new self, in that she has the power to freeze time for 60 seconds. The way it's introduced is understandably plot convenient. For the sake of time and comedy, they can't dive too hard into the details here. Not that they're relevant to the rest of the story anyway. Tagging along to school, Lele appropriately doesn't know how to act in public, and her loud antics quickly make a scene. Filling in the blanks as they go, Lele's eventual cover story is that she's Sadie's cousin from Houston and a new transfer student, much to the surprise of the principal. Though, to be fair, a lot of things must be a surprise to our apparently incompetent leadership. More pressingly, Lele ropes Sadie into running against uptight classmate Tiffany for the much more important role of freshman class president, with Lele as her running mate. After some notable attention-grabbing antics on that front, we briefly flip back to after school, and Lele finally being introduced to Sadie's family properly, where she helps the parents with their latest jingle. Then, at last, the next day, the class presidential debate. Lele gives a rousing speech about how welcome she's felt over the past 24 hours, and when it comes time for the unique presidential performances portion, she helps Sadie find the confidence to pull off a dance routine, notably to BTS's Dynamite, which must have cost a pretty penny to license. Pardon the reference, but it gives the rest of the class permission to dance, and it seems the election is a foregone conclusion.
Let's hear it for the new freshman class president and vice president of East Packer High, Sadie and Lele!
Tying up the last of the introductory loose ends, Sadie suggests their family host Lele, which they agree to, officially completing the establishment of the dynamics for future episodes. They've managed to navigate the waters of setting up these stories really well here. On a first glance, this show comes off as a fun and positive romp that boasts a strong creative sense and a handful of unique twists. To me, That Girl Lele is the show Tyler Perry's young Dylan wants to be and thinks it is. Even though this first episode is a relatively simple plot that we've seen in other shows, the creative execution builds it into a solid story that plays out really well on screen. Despite the fact that the show is arguably moralistic overall with its themes of self-exploration, it doesn't feel ham-fisted or forced here, and that may be due in part to both the fact that it's etched into the show's premise, and that the lessons pulled off so well here. In terms of storytelling, it might even be starting from a better position than the sometimes fast and loose side hustle, which I love for similarly being fun and one that's managed to come more into its own as of late. Honestly, there are plenty of comparisons to be made between the first episode of this show and the first episode of Young Dylan from last year, and not just because they air back to back and are both created by black people. From a plot standpoint, both shows' premiere episodes touch on a number of similar beats, from introducing someone new and changing up the existing character dynamics, to integrating to a school environment and being accepted into a family. It's almost certainly coincidental that these same points are touched by the starts of both shows, but in any case, That Girl Lele covers them more smoothly, and in some cases more creatively than Young Dylan managed to. When it comes to star vehicles on Nick, it seems like the second time's the charm. Like the Avatar turned human inspires our lead character to be, That Girl Lele is a strong sitcom that confidently puts its best creative foot forward and builds a solid premise through pitch-perfect and clever storytelling that nails and amplifies the exuberant energy expressed by its title star. This show is a great addition to Nick's slate, and it's got the potential to stick around for a while. It looks like That Girl Lele is out the app, and she certainly came to slay. If you want more stuff like this, then hit subscribe for all the latest from the world of television. You can go further to support these videos and get exclusive bonuses for as little as $3 a month at benj.tk/join. Star power is important, particularly for Nick's live action shows, and I touched upon how they need to rebuild their sitcom celebrity slate through the context of Tyler Perry's Young Dylan, up here or down in the description. I'm Benzie Johnson Jr., I'm enthusiastic about television, and I'll see you next time.